Ihe dị mmarị emego, ihe dị mmarị emego, ego ya kola mo. It's another yummy episode. Hello my people, you're welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Our good old pots are out and we're going to be making that yummy something you saw in the beginning. We have our ingredients all set out and what are we waiting for is to start introducing them. I've got some tomatoes and sweet pepper, some purple onion, habanero pepper and ginger, some spring onion, and of course a tin of crushed tomatoes. I'll be showing you how I make tomato stew. Tomato stew is a widely enjoyed delicacy in Nigeria, where I come from. Yeah, it may look like what the rest of the world call tomato sauce. They know the type they place on pizza and all that, but this particular one in my country we enjoy it with boiled rice. Okay, some people can also eat it with yam, potatoes, and the rest. The protein of choice for this stew is chicken, but you can use beef or in fact any protein of your choice. My chicken had a lot of fat on it. I had to sprinkle some salt on it and then roasted it until the fat melted away. Yes guys, that is optional depending on the type of meat you're using. For our spices, we're using something very simple. I have my dukrust thyme and curry over there. Here I have turmeric powder. I also have some mixed spices. My seasoning cubes, I'm using Knorr and star, and then salt. So guys, I'll go ahead now and prep our veggies. Like I told us earlier, we're going to be blending this. Okay, so first I have my habanero pepper in. I'm cleaning my ginger now to add to the blender. The tomatoes kind of were soft, so I decided to take off the seeds. You don't have to do that. It depends on if your tomato is very firm. Yes, so I did same for the capsicums, like the bell peppers. And now I'm just cutting the spring onions. I'm taking off the leafy part for garnishing. And then I'll be cutting the crunchier part. Yes, this part of it, I'll be cutting this part to add to the purple onion to fry alongside my tomatoes. So now I'll move over to the purple onions and just slice it up in this about these sizes. Yeah, you can feel free to cut it into any size of your choice. If you prefer it very smooth, you can actually blend this. Okay, so they are ready and I'll set them aside. I discovered I had some fresh rosemary in my fridge, so I'll just give this a rinse and add a few strands of it into the blender as well. The flavor that will come from that, better experienced than told. So guys, I'll blend this up now and quickly transfer into this pot for steaming. So tip number one, I'm going to be covering this pot only enough for the tomatoes inside to start boiling. Okay, once it starts to boil, I'm going to take the lid away. Meanwhile, I'm going to be transferring the chicken into this other pot, and then I have some leftover stew which I decided to just add to this chicken. Since I grilled it, I wanted it to have some kind of extra flavor. The onions and the thyme went in, and this is already boiling, so I took off the lid. Quick tip, if your pot is too small and you feel it will bubble over, just put a few drops of oil on it and you will be fine. So back to our chicken pot, I'll add the star seasoning cube, some curry powder, some mixed spices, yeah, and then some salt. Guys, feel free to season your chicken the way you deem fit. I'll add a little bit of water at the bottom. Our chicken is already dry, so if I steam it from now till tomorrow, no water will come out. Okay, so meanwhile, this is how our tomato is doing. I just discovered, guys, that the tomato I showed you earlier has just cherry tomatoes inside. It was actually the first time I bought it and I didn't really look at it very well, but this is the one I'm used to using, crushed fresh tomatoes. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be a tinned tomato puree. I left some of these in this bowl from the last time I cooked, so I'm going to be scooping that right onto the our tomato blend. Yeah, without stirring the pot, guys. If you do, it will start burning. Meanwhile, it's good to let you know the tomato could splatter on your cooktop. That's fine. So over to our chicken. Oh, look at that. Ah, it smells so good, guys. It smells so good. It's ready. I'll just leave it there until I'm ready for it. Meanwhile, our tomatoes have dried out, and you can see it is ready. So I'll just scoop them into a bowl ready for use. Here is our tin crushed tomatoes ready as well. So I didn't steam that alongside the rest of the tomatoes because I just want a combination of those two tastes in the stew. So heading on, guys, I'll quickly sieve the chicken stock, yeah, just to achieve something smooth, but it's not compulsory. And then I take away the chicken into this plate, okay? Yeah, they're as good as ready. We don't need to grill, we don't need to fry them. Quickly, we go ahead onto this pot and start frying our stew. And guys, you want to use enough oil to fry your tomatoes if you want it to turn out very yummy. Okay, it's better to actually have more oil than less. That way, after frying and you feel it's too much, you can scoop the oil off for a different recipe another day. Okay, so the oil is hot enough and I poured in the mix of purple onions and the stronger part of our spring onions. Okay, so the aroma is just heavenly, and I'll saute that for about a minute before we'll start adding the tomatoes. Okay, meanwhile I scooped in a little bit of salt, about 2 pinches, and then sauteed the onions. Our crushed tomatoes we go in first because it's fresher than the one we steam dried. Okay, yeah, we just want to get that drying before the other one coming. After about, that will take about 5-6 minutes, and you can see what it's looking like. So now I'll be gradually scooping in the tomatoes we dried. You want to do this in steps just so as you don't exceed the amount of oil you have. Yeah, you can see how much oil I have on top. That's the kind of thing you want to have. So that has been steaming for about 6 minutes, and it's time to spice it up. That's my nut cube I've just added, and then curry powder, turmeric curry powder, and then the normal Ducros curry powder, some mixed spices and salt. Guys, spice this as you wish with the spices available to you, okay, to your taste. After another 5-6 minutes, the tomatoes were well fried with the oil settling on top. So I poured in my chicken stock and then transferred the chicken right into it. Oh wow. So the chicken is going to marinate in there for an extra 5 minutes. Yeah, bring it to a boil so that everything will marry each other. This is the consistency you would want to have. You can make it thicker, you can make it lighter to your taste. So guys, the next thing is to garnish with the leafy part of our spring onion. Guys, at this point you can see my pot is not on the stove where I was cooking it before. It means I had taken it off the fire. So I'm just gonna cover that there to steam in the hotness of the stew, if that makes sense, until I'm ready to serve. Look at that stew. So like I was telling us, we eat this with boiled white rice. You can eat it with your brown rice, with pasta, with potatoes, with it's a versatile one. Okay, so you can enjoy it with whatever you want to enjoy it with. Like I'm doing here, I love to eat this with rice or white yam, and my reaction will tell you how yummy this is. So guys, that's it for our today's recipe. I thank you so much for hanging on. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Until I come your way next time, my name is Geraldine. Stay blessed. Bye bye.